Greetings, one and all. How are you dealing with your extreme weather wherever you are? Here in sunny England, we've had an ongoing heat wave. I love the hot weather myself. It's been fantastic to be out in it. But it is a furnace out there. Even in the evenings, it's still hot, which is unusual for where I live. Normally, a heat wave lasts a couple of days. This is going on for a few weeks now. And it changes the atmosphere, doesn't it? The weather and how it is. And at the moment, with this dry heat that we've got here in England, we've had lots of extremities going on, lots of fires. I live near heath and woodland, which is constantly burning, usually from people's rubbish and litter, discarded glass bottles and such like that catch fire in the heat. I feel like I need to do shows to the general public of how to put your rubbish in the bin. But anyway, the atmosphere is quite intense here with the heat wave going on. I see a lot of quick tempers going because people are just overheated. The atmosphere doesn't just affect the world, it affects yourself, the atmosphere around yourself. How is that doing? Are you living in a calm, good atmosphere, or are you caught up in an atmosphere where it's quite hostile or toxic? We have to be aware of these kinds of things. But we also have to be aware of the atmosphere we're creating ourselves as an individual person. So we're going out and about our business. And Gurdjieff talks a lot about atmosphere. I'm going to read from Views from the Real World. And he says, man has two substances in him, the substances of active elements of the physical body and the substances made up of the active elements of astral matter. These two form a third substance by mixing. This mixed substance gathers in certain parts of a man and also forms an atmosphere around him, like the atmosphere surrounding a planet. Some people talk about how they have that astral body around them, or they can see that we've got an astral, body around us. Usually mediums or clairvoyants and such like can see these things. I can see them on plants, but not on people. And so that atmosphere that we're creating around us is going out into the world, as we're going about our business. How we're feeling inside is in that atmosphere and affecting everything around us. I'm sure many of you know this anyway, so I'm just talking to the converted here already. This mixed substance gathers in certain parts of a man and also forms an atmosphere around him, like the atmosphere surrounding a planet. Planetary atmospheres are continually gaining or losing substances because of other planets. Man is surrounded by other men, just as planets are surrounded by other planets. Within certain limits, when two atmospheres meet, and if the atmospheres are sympathetic, a connection is made between them, and lawful results occur. Something flows. The amount of atmosphere remains the same, but the quality changes. Man can control his atmosphere. It's like electricity, having positive and negative parts. One part can be increased and made to flow like a current. Everything has positive and negative electricity. In man, wishes and non-wishes may be positive and negative. Astral matter always opposes physical matter. Now, isn't that interesting that the astral matter opposes the physical matter? But is that because our physical matter's not quite in tune as to what we're supposed to be doing, whereas the astral matter, because it's connected to the astral and to the heavens and to the stars, has more of an understanding of what it is we're supposed to be doing to develop ourselves. So we're trying to bring together the physical and the astral so that we can create that third substance, which would be some kind of higher vibration within us that makes us more connected, more connected together and in tune with how we're supposed to be. But obviously then we go out into the world and we get affected by the other planets that are about us, whether that's the ones in the sky or just humanity that we come across in our path that either try and stop us doing what we're doing. They might not be aware of what they're doing, but are there getting in the way, or those that we are compatible with, that we can work with and do right things, good things. The right things is the important thing that we're trying to do within ourselves. We're trying not to make negative atmospheres around us. We want to make a positive atmosphere around us. But then also being impartial, I wonder, makes us more of a neutral atmosphere around us. We want to not be affected by other people's negativity. We easily get caught up, thankfully, in people's positivity. So some people don't like people being positive or having good times. Some people get quite jealous of all that and they pretend that they're up for you having a good time or doing well in something when they're a little bit jealous. But that is, or, yeah, jealous, I suppose, that will affect their atmosphere that they're projecting out. And the atmosphere we're projecting out also affects other people, which is why we have to recollect ourselves and be aware of what it is we're doing, how we're presenting ourselves to other people and the world. I know at work, you've got your work head on, so you're meant to be presenting a work type version of yourself in your atmosphere. You should be having your social life atmosphere around you when you're working. When you're out in your social life, you've got a different atmosphere around you, and so on. Gurdjieff goes on to say, a few pages later, everything living has an atmosphere around itself. The difference lies only in its size. The larger the organism, the larger its atmosphere. In this respect, every organism can be compared to a factory. A factory has an atmosphere around it composed of smoke, steam, waste materials, and certain admixtures which evaporate in the process of production. The value of these component parts varies. In exactly the same way, human atmosphere is composed of different elements. And as the atmosphere of different factories has a different smell, so has the atmosphere of different people. And one of the things about being more connected with oneself and being attuned, you can be aware of how other people, not necessarily knowing their private thoughts or anything, I'm not saying telepathic ways, but you can be aware when you approach someone deep down, they're feeling a bit down or they're feeling angry. Normally you can observe that kind of thing from their body language, but some people hide it well. But we can pick this up from other people's atmosphere. And I know that many techniques talk about protecting yourself and closing yourself down so that you're not affected by things like this. But I feel like the Gurdjieff works is trying to teach us how to still not be affected by it and not be, caught up in someone else's atmosphere, but it's showing you how to recognize it when you see it and be aware. Awareness is an important part of this work. And he goes on to say, for a more sensitive nose, for instance, a dog, it is impossible to confuse the atmosphere of one man with the atmosphere of another. I have said that man is also a station for transforming substances. Parts of the substances produced in the organism are used for the transformation of other matters, while other parts go into his atmosphere that are lost. Thus, the organism works not only for itself, but also for something else. Men of knowledge know how to retain the fine matters in themselves and accumulate them. Only a large accumulation of these fine matters enables a second and lighter body to be formed within man. And that's, part of this astral body that we're trying to form within ourselves, the Keshan body. So working on our atmosphere helps us work on our atmosphere for our other bodies as well. I believe our physical body atmosphere, how we're feeling being in this material world, affects our astral body. So doing this work is not just about living in this material world, it's helping you to develop so that you can be in the other bodies that we have. We have, the astral body, the etheric body. The etheric body is what gives us the life force. So you need to keep that running well as well. Otherwise, our life force will dwindle. But by doing Gurdjieff work, we are then creating a force within us to keep these bodies strong, resilient, I suppose, as well, but also more, like I was saying before, more aware of what's going on with other bodies that are around us so that we're not colliding with other bodies in a way, in a dramatic way. Hopefully we're just bypassing like planets, like stars, and still working together and shining brightly, hopefully. But he says in, let me go to, life is real only then when I am. The result of this pronouncing of the words I am, and I've done many shows on these exercise, without this reverberation will be the same as that which is obtained from the automatic associative mentation of man, namely an increase of that in the atmosphere of our planet from our perception of which, and from its blending with our second food, there arises in us an irresistible urge to destroy the various tempos of our ordinary life, somehow established through centuries. And Gurdjieff says he's come to show us a new way to live properly. You know, you're real. Life is real only then when I am. You want to be real. And if we can develop a good atmosphere, a positive atmosphere around ourselves, other people do pick up on it. And then hopefully we can be like showing them the way. They might at first wonder, what's different about you? It's like a charismatic way, charisma, where people are drawn to it, but hopefully the right type of people, and the wrong type of people are also drawn to it, but they don't understand why. And it can sometimes bring a few weirdos in. But if we develop it correctly, we will also be able to use it correctly to help other people as well. Maybe not, they're not aware of that we're doing that. But by being, other people feel that energy, we're projecting that atmosphere out rather than a negative, destructive atmosphere or a dull atmosphere. Oh my God, there's so many dull people, which I feel for. You know, I find them, I'm thankful every day that I'm not dull, but I wonder how they live through their lives as dull people. It baffles me. I don't know if that's rude of me to say or not, but dull people can be drawn to charismatic people because they see that there's more to life than their dullness, and they probably do want to be a bit more of an outgoing person. And Ouspensky, no, not Ouspensky, sorry, Nott talks about this. He talks about there was this question given to Gurdjieff. How do some people have more animal magnetism than others? And Gurdjieff replies, man has two substances in him, the substance of active elements of the physical body and the substance made of active elements of astral matter. So this is a bit of a repeat of before, but it's still good to know. These two, by mixing, form a third substance, and this third substance is a mixed substance. It gathers in certain parts of a man and forms an atmosphere around him as an atmosphere forms around a planet. So again, he's talking about how these planets or these atmospheres around us, they go up and down depending on how we're feeling. Man is surrounded by other men as planets are surrounded by other planets. When within certain limits, two atmospheres meet, and if atmospheres are sympathetic, a contact is made between them and lawful results occur. You know, he's talking again about the flowing. We want things to flow. We come across bumps, you know, we have shocks all the time. But if we can keep flowing in between all them, then we're doing the work, we're creating things. Just wanted to go back to life is real. The general radiations of the Earth, the totality of which manifests as the atmosphere, consists of three independent classes of vibrations, issuing from processes that take place in the very heart of the Earth between metals, metalloids, and minerals. So he's talking about the Earth's atmosphere here, and the Earth, Mother Gaia, is all working together, all the different substances to create a growing, nurturing planet. And that's what we're supposed to be doing with ourselves inside us, so that we are a growing, nurturing human being that is doing the work that we want to do, so that we're working with his endlessness and the divine source and being shining like suns, I would say. We want to be the sun. And I'm just going to do a bit of J.G. Bennett. The atmosphere refers to the short range of force that surrounds every entity. A human being has such an atmosphere, and when two people interact, forces that they do not understand are released. One can love one's neighbor so long as he keeps his distance. But it's one of the commandments. It's the golden rule. You've got to love your neighbor, do unto others as you would have done to yourself. And if we can create the right atmosphere, then we will do the right thing. And I was just going to finish with another views from the real world. Well, really, it's just a reminder about how the organism works not only for itself, but also for something else. And that organism is us. And we're trying to, it's not just about us developing, we're helping the whole planet's evolution. Men of knowledge know how to retain the fine matters in themselves and accumulate them. Only a large accumulation of these fine matters enables a second and lighter body to be formed within man. And we're trying to be the men and women of knowledge and go forth with an atmosphere that spreads out around the planet, spreads out to the people we know, spreads out to the animals, the birds, the plants, the stones, everything on it, to help in the continuing evolution of this wonderful world that we live on. So where you all are, blessings to you all. And until next time, thank you for watching.